What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another one of our video, and welcome to the Integrated Men's Network, the place for you guys to be able to learn more about the Manosphere at the very same time as to be able to learn tips, tricks, and tactics to be able to level yourself up as a man. Now, in the video for today, we're going to be doing a reaction video on a video titled Simps. And this was created by Swoozy. And if you're not familiar with Swoozy, he's been around YouTube for a long time, got a lot of subscribers in him, has a variety of different, topics. And for some reason, he covered this. And it was sent to me by a friend of mine. He said, you should watch this. And when I started watching it, the first few minutes, I'm like, you know what? There was a good analogy that he used. And so for you guys out there, I don't know if you're like me yet, but within the past few years, I've been having to explain to plenty of men what that definition is. And most of the time is what we're starting to see is that a lot of men who don't even know about that particular term, simps, it's more than likely they've been simping for a while. So it's good to be able to explain this. It's our job as men to lift up other men and not leave a man behind, right? And then, of course, sometimes some guys don't want to come to the light. So let's go ahead and do a reaction to this video, and I'll pause it as we go through this and then make some commentary with you guys as well, okay?
With the term simp, I heard somebody on Twitch put it in a really good way. You have a dog who loves his owner. The dog's whole world is based around the owner. And then you have that owner who comes home and he's just like, the owner's real busy. He even uses that app Wags to get somebody else to come and walk the dog. That dog is just a fraction of the owner's life. That dog is the simp in this equation. The owner is there literally.
And that's the nice analogy that we can kind of use right now. I think that, one of the things that we have to do is to be better communicators, and to be a better communicator to people, I feel that we need to be able to sometimes use analogies for them to be able to make sense. So when we have a friend who maybe is simping up to a girl really hard, then maybe that this would be a good way to be able to, kind of explain to them what it's all about, and for them to be able to get clear, for them to be able to start knowing more, because that is something that we actually need to do, right? So let's continue on with the video.
Shopping for a cat online. Meanwhile, the dog is there licking the bottom of his feet. Most of us have simped at some point in our life for somebody that we found attractive. Let's just keep it 100%. But it's good to recognize if you're currently doing this and course correct. A little while ago, I had a girl.
So, I totally agree with this. I know there's going to be some guys out there that's not going to agree with that whole stuff where, some guys are going to be like, I've never simped in my life. At one given point in our lives, we've actually simped up because, what's the definition of simping, right? When we were younger, we were just trying to get that first notch on our headboard, right? Trying to get that first girl. We don't want to be the last one of the group to actually get some in high school back in the days, right? So for some of the guys that are still kind of using this as a way to be able to discover, maybe you're watching this video for the first time because you're actually researching about what does a simp mean. Well, let's go ahead and explain that. It's someone who does way too much for a person that they like. Okay? Another definition is, you know, a man who puts the hose before the bros. Okay? So that's maybe a better way to kind of explain that stuff. And what we want to do is we want to also be able to pinpoint the fact that it is doing something for someone who is of the opposite sex. Okay? So, the analogy of the video, here's a dude with a dog, right? Here's a dude with a dog. Now, just think about that is for the guys that are simping up, these are the dogs simping up to the owner of the dog, right? You're doing everything to please this person, even though maybe they're not giving you full attention. Maybe they're not giving you the time that that you wish. And just like what he was talking about, Here's a dog licking the owner's foot while this owner is in the phone looking for a new cat. Okay. So this is to maximize things is like a simp is the more pathetic friend zoned dude. Okay. It's like that person who has been friend zoned, and more likely this girl has many men under her that she's friend zoned, but this is the dude that's trying hard or extra hard to get noticed by the girl.
Hit me up and she was like, "Take me somewhere tropical." You know what I said back to her? No, I'm sorry, y'all. Take me somewhere tropical because I'm so stressed. Let's go somewhere like in the Caribbean. She's saying let's, like she's going to contribute. And any
Has this ever happened to you guys where where there's the audacity of this girl, of this type of woman, and it may not happen to you, but a friend who this happens to, and other than that, a girl who does this a lot, right? And here's the full thing, guys. It's all about in the communication. It's in the communication that you need to pay attention to. Because when somebody does this to you, typically, right? Typically, whoever asks a person to go out for a bite, technically that person asking the other person should be the person that offers to pay, right? That's how it's supposed to be. But unfortunately, you end up going out with this girl, right? You end up going with a girl like this, and then all of a sudden, she has those alligator hands that for some reason she can't reach for the wallet. They give you this blank stare when the bill comes. And what's funny is, right, if you go to a restaurant, for some reason, the server always hands over the bill to the man. So even though she's like, I'm going to pay for this, when that bill comes, it's going to go into your lap. And that right there is that, are you going to be a dick look and pass it along to her? Or are you going to man up and pay for that? They know that's going to happen. They know that's how the situation is. Like, I wish there should be new rules where when the bill comes, it goes in the middle. But there's a lot of these servers, and I've been a server in the past when I was younger, and that's what we were taught. Give the check to the boy, to the man. So let's continue on with the video.
any way, shape, or form. For example, if somebody hit you up and said, "Hey, let's go buy a car," both of y'all show up to the dealership, you look at her and she's like, "I didn't bring any money." And fellas, I'm talking to you. This has happened to you before, but in a different way. They probably changed the words around. You probably got a text and it was worded like this: "I miss you. Let's go grab a bite." This
Now, talking about the whole car thing, right? Just talking about the whole car stuff. I've known one dude who, this girl's like, you know what? I need to buy a car, blah blah blah, and she's like, can you go with me? And of course, the guy, knight in shining armor, the white knight that he is, goes along with her. But guess what? Don't fall for that crap when a girl asks you to please go with her to buy a car, especially if you're not her man. Okay? Don't do that. Don't go through that whole thing. Why? Because my friend of mine then gets pressured and she's like, oh my God, I'm not getting approved. I can't get a good deal. Can you co sign for me? The cosign of death. Don't allow these type of women, especially, here's the thing. You need to recognize the friend zone. Okay? You need to recognize that, and you need to set the bar straight that you're not going to be placed in the friend zone. And so just imagine, just like what Susie said, you can substitute everything for a different world. Let's go get a bite to eat. Let's go watch a movie. Let's go watch this concert. Oh, I'm interested in seeing this play. So you can substitute any of that. And if that's happening where there's no return in your investment, then you need to back away. You need to give that space. You need to pay attention that you're not the person that's always reaching out to them. And I think that that's where it matters a little bit to pay attention to things. Okay.
This bait simping where you don't even realize you're simping for somebody, but they bait you in, knowing dang well they're just using you as a free meal. It sucks because there's actually people out there who do miss you and do want to hang out with you. Let me tell you how I figured out this little plot. This one girl texted me and she was like, "Are my texts even going through to you?"
Don't you hate that stuff? You know, I almost swore there. But don't you hate that crap where girls do that if you don't respond right away? It's like this is where I used to wish, like back in the days where, people had to wait for you to get home. Like people had to wait for you to get home before they can try to contact you. I mean, nowadays people think that there's that instant gratification that you're supposed to call them back automatically the moment that they message you. Like to help you guys out in regards for time management and everything. If I were you guys, don't turn on your notifications, meaning that when you get a notification it shows on the drop down, just remove that. It allows you to be able to spend more time to make a determination when you need to look into your phone, because there's that dopamine receptors that kind of gets triggered the moment that you hear that ding or that message sound. Okay, so you want to limit that. You want to be able to set your time really well. It's your time management skills is such an important thing. And one thing that I do whenever I have a friend that tells me, "Hey, I messaged you earlier, you haven't responded yet," and then when I look at my messages, I see the fact that he says that or she says that, I'll be like, my notifications are always turned off because I don't want to get distracted always. And I'll let them know. And you just have to let them know that one time, and they'll remember that. And if they don't, make sure you remind them again. It's just that don't let people be time vampires. Time vampires where they control your time. It's your time, and you need to be able to manage that yourself. And talking about this whole, you know, women hitting you up in regards to trying to make you their food simp. There's actually a study that was done in New York, and when they did this study, that there's actually 33% of women, okay, 33% of women have admitted that the reason why they call out a guy or the reason why they go out on a date with a guy is so that they can eat at a place that they want to. Because these girls sometimes don't even know how much it costs in the bill. You'll be surprised. Like one of these days, ask one of your girls that you know, like, hey, how much do you think a guy spends when he takes you out to like a, I don't know, Olive Garden, takes you to, let's say, to a nice steakhouse, takes you to a nice Italian place. Some of these girls have no idea how it goes, and it's hilarious.
You're like ignoring me or something. Okay, well, what was the last text you sent me? She sends me the screenshot over, and I noticed there's a pizza slice next to my name. My first thought was, hold up, wait a minute, this girl thinks I'm a snack. But then my second thought was, hold up, wait a minute. The only time I ever hear from this girl is when it's a "I miss you, let's go get some food," and I pay every time.
That's crazy how it finally hits you, right? When it finally hits you that, like, oh snap, this girl is like straight up taking advantage of me. And sometimes it takes a while. But the thing though is start recognizing these red flags with these type of girls. Okay? You should, and you should pay attention and pay close attention to these things happening.
So she hits me with the "I missed you, let's get some food." So I'm like, yeah, let's go get some food. As
Oh,
soon as we
I
sit down, I'm
miss
like,
you.
yo, you got me this time. I paid for the last time. You got me this time, right? Cool. The look
That's
on this
funny.
girl's face was kind of like, yeah. Ordered
And
my burger.
she's
I'm in the
probably
mood
never
for
gonna
ice
call him
cream.
again.
Made her pay for my ice cream too. This is all a test. I've taken her out dozens of times. Think she might have spent $15 on me total. Tell me why come that was the last time this girl has ever asked me to go
I
out
knew
to eat.
it.
Peculiar. And you want to know what really messed me up? I was on Twitter one day, and then I saw this.
Stop texting first and see how many dead plants you have been watering. I think that that's a very good quote. Like honestly, how many girls or even just friends, let's say, do you have out there who really will not respond to you anymore? Okay? That's something that you have to kind of look into. Now, just to let you guys know, the description and the link to the full video is down below here. And so I definitely want you guys to be able to move on over there to his channel to be able to watch the full video. I just want to be able to use that the beginning portion of things. Now, here's the thing. You get these questions sometimes. Well, can you be simping to your friends? Um, and so the question to kind of look into that is no, you can't be simping to friends. I'm talking about male friends. We're all dudes here. Some ladies are probably watching this. That's perfectly fine. But no, you can't simp towards similar or same sex individuals. Okay. This is towards the opposite sex. But if we take it to the part where, well, how about all these friends of mine who's kind of sucking me dry of my money, of my time, and really I'm the one who's paying always. Well, in that particular cases, you need to also really understand the dynamics in regards to friendship. Of course, you want to do things for real friends without the need of something in return. But sometimes you need to be able to shit test these things to see are they really true friends. And I think some people out there just has the need to be wanted. Some people out there just has the need of having these metrics of having so many friends. When the truth is, there's no such thing. You can have close acquaintances. Like for me, I can say that I have a circle of 5 of my best friends that I know the moment I give them a call, the moment I send that warning text that something's up, that they're going to show up and be there for me. Then I want you to think about it just like, for example, you know, a cell. If you remember, if you know your biology or whatever, so you have your nucleus, that is you. Then the first layer surrounding that stuff, the membrane of the cell, that right there, my friends, are your close friends. Then you have the outer portion of it. Then you can have your closer acquaintances, and you can still call them your friends, but they're not your best of friends. And so typically I would always tell people you should have your 5 of your closest friends that surrounds you, and then the next circle around that is going to be double the size, which is 10. So you can technically have about 15 total that surrounds you as much as possible. But if you're out there trying to always people please people to kind of get people to like you, the need for that. It's not simping if it's in the same sex, but if it's an opposite sex, where like women, for example, then you're taking it to the next level. And don't forget the fact that you're gonna have these girls that you're trying to maybe figure out what can happen. You're trying to be surrounding them so that maybe they can pick you first. But really the truth is they have other men surrounding them. And what's funny is sometimes you take these girls out because you're trying to impress them because maybe you didn't do a good job the first time you went on a date. You weren't able to sexually escalate the whole thing, and then all of a sudden she brings her friend along, and then now instead of paying for 2 people, you're paying for an extra mouth to be fed. So you need to be able to pay attention to that and watch out for that, and don't allow these things to happen to you guys. So what do you think from the stuff that we watched here? I want to be able to hear your comments, your questions, your concerns. And I want you guys to be able to put it down below. And once again, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for giving me some time. If you haven't yet, click the subscribe button right down there, the bell notification. Our goal here is to be able to put out some content on a weekly basis for you guys. And so I hope that you guys keep on watching our videos. I totally appreciate everything, guys. You guys have a good day, all right?